Hi, everyone. Welcome to another wonderful episode of Margaux with Margaux. I have to fix my hair a little bit. There we go. So, hi. Welcome to another exciting episode of Margaux with Margaux. I'm Margaux Monet, your host. And this is my glass of wine, which is also part of my program as well. So, happy Monday. Let's toast to another successful day. Oh my God, that was just lovely, wasn't it? Let's see. There we go. So, how was your weekend? Did you do anything fun? Is there anything interesting you'd like to share with me? You can write it in the comments. I had a pretty good weekend. Some moments of the day I'm excited that I'm home, that I'm grateful, and other moments I'm a little frustrated. But I'm like all of you. I feel like every single every single time I don't go out of the door or I don't meet someone, I'm stopping the spread. I'm slowing the spread, as they say. And each of us individually can make a difference in everybody's life around you. This is the first time when you realize that whenever there was a war, there was always other people on the front line. You would have your military, you would have the generals, you would have the president or the country. This is the first time we're fighting a war where it's all of us. We're together fighting for this, fighting against this enemy all together as one, individually, day by day, second by second. And each decision we make can not only impact our lives, but impact other people's lives around us. So it's really critical that you understand that even though we didn't join the military, you and I, and in essence, we're in the military. We're sacrificing for the better good. And there's also a lot of great lessons in sacrifice, correct? You understand where your priorities are in life. You come to an understanding of what gives life meaning. What do you want for your family, or what do you want individually, or what type of impact do you want to make on your life during this short period of time that we exist in this world? And it's important that we love and support each other. I was reading a lot of comments and different things where, there's a lot of people that are giving, anywhere from Bill Gates, Leonardo DiCaprio, Oprah. There's a lot of celebrities, of course, that are giving money, which is just absolutely wonderful. And there's some criticism. Why aren't they giving enough? Why isn't this rich person who's a multi-billionaire, why isn't this person giving more than their share, right? Because they became successful in our country because of us. My argument is, or my thought process is, whether that billionaire decides to give $5,000 or $1 million or 5 million or whatever that amount is, that's giving. And in my opinion, whether the person gives multi-billion or million or 500,000 or 50,000, it's money to help. And their heart is in the right area. So I support anyone who wants to give, no matter how small the amount could be or how small the task is. Suppose you want to do something and you're asking yourself, okay, I see this big problem going on. I'm at home. What do I do? You could do simple things. One, you could just call some friends and say, hey, let's have a Friday night party online. Also a good app to use is Jitsi Me. It's a really good app to use instead of Zoom. It's JITSIMEET. And just start a conversation with everyone. Or it could be just doing something nice for your neighbor. Maybe you notice one of your neighbors you haven't seen in a while. We'll leave a note on the door. Another good thing that I thought about today was about 4 years ago, I had a good friend of mine. His name was Gerald. And Gerald was one of those people that's very introspective. And he would send my husband and I postcards all the time. So maybe 3, 4 times a month, we would get these really lovely postcards because he traveled. And sometimes he didn't even travel at all. He would just go to the store, he would order the postcards, and he would write these witty sayings. It was always so beautifully done and so well done. And we always joked that we would always tell him, hey, Gerald, we're keeping all of your postcards because they're so incredibly special. And keep in mind, he'd been writing these cards to my husband for almost 30 years. So you can imagine how many postcards he kept over the vast amount of time. And we always joke, Gerald, we have all your postcards. We either look like the biggest hoarders, or we're very sentimental. I like to think we're sentimental, not hoarders. But anyway, we would keep these cards, and we would tease him. We'd say, Gerald, one day if you pass away, we're going to bring those postcards to your funeral. Needless to say, about 4 years ago, he passed away. Suddenly he had a stroke. We went to the funeral, and a lot of people brought postcards that he had given them. So it was a room of about 200 people, and everybody in the room got a postcard from Gerald. And what was really surprising about it, some of us had the same postcard. So how did he do it? How was he able to make that kind of an impact? And he told some of them, if I ever die before you guys or whatever, he would joke, bring the postcard. So here we are at the funeral, and each of us stood up and read his postcard and some of the lovely thoughts that he said. And it was a celebration like no other. He loved Hawaiian music, and he played Over the Rainbow, the version Over the Rainbow, but not that version, the fun version. It was a celebration. It was absolutely wonderful. And everybody would get up and tell everyone about the postcard. I don't know how he did it, but he understood the power of writing, because each time he would write a card, there was always this wonderful, interesting little wisdom tucked away underneath it all. He was just so insightful and so wonderful. And so he inspired me and the other friends that I met at the funeral. We all now write postcards. So it's surprising how much fun it is to receive a postcard in the mail. So I like to thank my friend Gerald, but I also want to inspire each of you to write a postcard. Write a letter to someone. Maybe you have a friend you haven't spoken to in a while, and she was so good to you and so wonderful, and you haven't had a chance to say something. You have no idea that writing a letter, sending a postcard can make people happy. It's just a moment in their day. A little card, a little note can make a big difference. So if you're asking yourself, well, I don't have all those resources, I'm not a doctor, I don't, do something small. And if all of us, hundreds of millions of us, 200 million of us, all do one little good thing, we have opened up the world at another level. We have fought the virus because we pulled together, not in a state of fear, but in a state of love. And love, and what other reason to be alive is to love, right? Because no matter how many things you have, it cannot replace love. Pure, unconditional, beautiful, wonderful love that makes you feel valued and important and adds so much to your day. Okay, so I also want to just say something quick. I want to also, I obviously there was an incredible amount of loss of life this weekend. I just want to say I'm very sorry if you suffered a loss, and whether it losses a friend or relative. I'm very, very sorry to hear about your incredible loss. It's a horrible disease, and it's a horrible, horrible thing. And also, if you have coronavirus, our prayers are with you. I can say everybody on here, we all wish you well because you're valued, you're wonderful, and we need you. So that's my thought of the day. And also, faith is very important. It's the best thing that we have. It's the best tool that we have to bring us back into the moment and feel good and feel loved and feel wanted, because we're here for a reason. You're here, I'm here, we're all here for a reason. Did you see the White House update today? I think it's a good idea to take if you don't have time to watch it live, because it is kind of like 2 hours long, I would recommend watching it. Record it, watch it, see it later, because you really get an insight of what kind of is going on, even though you don't really know what's going on. I mean, the president, of course, everybody's up there, but you can feel a sense of urgency and everybody's working together. So I think it's important to watch it. directly and get your opinion and learn. There's a lot of good information there. I always learn something new. Obviously, there's a lot of things going on. There's several vaccinations that are happening. I just read an article that Bill Gates apparently is pursuing all these vaccinations by setting up a location and to move these different vaccinations forward. But unfortunately, you know as well as I do, not all of them will work, and it's going to cost billions of dollars to do. So hats off to Bill Gates and his contribution to what he is doing as well. We're all in this together. We're fighting to get to the finish line because we're fighting an invisible enemy and we're going to win. That's my opinion. I have no doubt, and I know that that's going to happen. Okay. So my husband teases me a lot. He says, you know what, Margaux? You got to be more funnier. So I don't know how to be so funny. I'm smiling. Oh, hi, you're one of my frequent people. I see y'all at Block, BLAQUE12558. Thank you for joining me. How have you been? How was your weekend? Thank you. You've been watching every episode. Oh my God, another super fan. Isn't that kind of cool? So, but this has all been quite fun. Now, if you guys are is this your first time tuning in? Okay. If it's your first time tuning in, what you need to do is understand that my goal was never to talk about coronavirus. What inspired me to do this was I got tired of looking at certain issues that were going on in society. No one really cared enough, like homeless issue. Because I really felt with a country this big, this strong, and this wealthy, why do we have people laying all over the place? It just seemed ridiculous. And I really wanted to address that issue. And that's what inspired me to do this. I started talking about the Oscars, if you could go back 2 months ago, and TV shows and all bit. And of course, the coronavirus came about. And I said, why would I want to talk about coronavirus? But I realized that this is a time that I can do something. And you guys have inspired me to continue to do this. This has been fun. It's been interesting. And I'm learning and growing a lot. And it's a really big challenge to do a live show. I've never done anything like this before. So it's been a wonderful experience and challenging experience. But it's been good because I feel that we're meeting each other. Hi, I'm Margaux. And we're becoming friends. And we're going to tune in and catch up and see what's going on. So that's one thing. Another thing I want to keep in mind is I realize a lot of people don't understand how germs work. I know people in my family, I ask them questions. So what are you doing with the mask and the gloves? Well, I'll give you an example. One of my relatives would take the mask off and touch all in front of the mask after he removes the mask. Now, if you have a mask that's made out of cloth, wash it immediately. Put it in hot water. If it's a mask that you cannot clean, I recommend either put alcohol on it, do something to stop the germs. Now, keep in mind the germs only stay on a certain period of time. So depending on what it's made out of, you can come up with a strategy. But you shouldn't take off the mask and put your hands all over it, because then you just put coronavirus possibly on your hands. And if you touch your face and nose, that could be an exposure. Now, it hasn't been proven that will indeed happen. But if your life is on the line and people are dying, we have over 10,000 people who have died. I think it's quite serious. So I would do whatever I can to protect myself. Now, I literally will wash my hands if I'm cooking 6 to 7 times while I'm cooking. I touch something, I wash my hands. I wash. I cannot afford to get sick. I just feel that way. I'm a little overkill. I know you guys, you're probably thinking, boy, she really is taking this cleaning to storm. So please forgive me, but I just think it's important. So if you can, wear a mask to not only protect other people, but to also protect yourself as well. Because what if you're asymptomatic and you don't have any symptoms and you're just now going to the store and you're breathing and walking around, possibly you could be spreading it. Wear a mask. I think it's the best thing to do. It makes everybody feel good and comfortable if they see you. Now, when I go to store, first it wasn't that many more people wearing a mask, but a lot of people are wearing it now. I'm in California. And so it's good. So I feel good. I recommend wearing a mask, but obviously it's up to you. But I feel it's a small thing that we can do to support and help each other and do what we can to get us through this difficult and challenging time. Now, last week I mentioned that if you wanted these 2 books, one was A Man Thinketh, and another book is Think and Grow Rich. Now, those 2 books I recommended because they're one of the best self-help books out there. If you look at both titles of the book, it's called Think and Grow Rich. That means think. And the other was Thinketh, A Man Thinketh. So that's a clue that to be successful, you've got to be able to figure out how to use your mind, your powerful thoughts, mind, and words. Your words have great power. Your mind has great power. You have to utilize those tools that God has given you so you can attract and pull success and good things to you. Another great book that I just was reading about today, which I thought was really good, it's called The Power of Positive Thinking. The Power of Positive Thinking. Really good book. It was written by Norman Vincent Peale. If you like a copy of any of these three books, email my assistant GraceandKWhite@gmail.com and I'll give you a free copy of that ebook. I'm going to read a quote because everybody says, oh, man, Margaux, you're way too positive. It's a better life, frankly. So if you're not a positive person and you're looking at me, oh, why is she so positive? Does it really, it's like a magical thinking. Well, a couple of things happen. One, you're better to be around because you're positive. Two, the likelihood of you being successful increases so much further. You have to have a positive attitude. There's no other way around it. So let me go ahead. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to read you a quote of the book. This is the first page of the book, The Power of Positive Thinking. Here we go. Believe in yourself. Have faith in your abilities. Without a humble but reasonable confidence in your own power, you cannot be successful or happy. But the sound self-confidence, you can succeed. With sound self-confidence, you can succeed. A sense of inferiority and inadequacy interferes with the attainment of your hopes, but self-confidence leads to self-realization and successful achievement. Because of the importance of the mental attitude, this book will help you believe in yourself and release your inner powers. Inner powers. Did you hear that? Inner powers. It is appalling to realize the number of pathetic people who are hampered and made miserable by the malady popularly called inferiority complex. But you need not suffer from this trouble. When proper steps are taken, it can be overcome. So I highly recommend A Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale and all those other three books that I talked about earlier. And there's always something we can do to support and love each other more. So now, if you're applying for any of these programs, loans, you have to keep in mind our federal bureaucracy is literally a mess. Our state system is a mess, and it takes time to get things done. You have to keep good notes. I recommend if you email, make a call, write good notes, because if you have to call back with all the people, everyone calling everywhere for unemployment, all the other things you're trying to do for any of these programs, you have good notes. Another good tip is, if suppose you call someone and you can hear it in their voice, they're not helpful. I always do this. I'll pretend the person's name Margaux. Hi, Margaux. How are you doing today? Oh, she'll say, oh, I'm doing wonderful. And you? I'm doing better now that I've heard your voice. How are you doing? How's your family? Are you getting through this coronavirus okay? And I hope you're doing well. And the person says, oh, that's so wonderful. So kind of you, right? Compliments, kindness, love helps people to feel good. And when people feel good, they're more motivated to want to help you. Plus, it just feels good to spread a little love, right? So suppose a person does a really good job. Oh, and you say to them, thank you so much for all your wonderful help. I would love to do something nice for you. How long have you been doing this job? They'll say, well, a year or two. I'm going to put in a good word for you because you've been so kind to me. I'm going to do something kind for you. I'm going to tell your boss you deserve a raise because you went out of your way for me. Only if they go out of their way for you. You went out of your way for me, and I really, truly appreciate it. I'm going to get your boss on the line. Boss comes on. You say, that Margaux was absolutely fantastic. She was prompt. She was good. You need to give her more money. Now, over the years, I've tried this technique. It works sometimes. Once in a while, someone will say, the supervisor will come on the line and says, you know what? I'm going to give her a raise. Oh my God, I made a difference. Someone got a raise. Because doing these types of jobs, talking to people all day can be extremely stressful. I talk to a lot of crappy people all day. You want to be that shiny light in their day when they pick up the phone. Now, if someone's on the phone and they're just negative, horrible, and you can't hang up, which sometimes I do, but now that we're doing all this, you can't afford to hang up. You try to make the person feel good. Ask them about their dogs. Ask them how long they've been at the job. Ask them what state they're in. They're in Michigan or New York. You say, well, I really feel for you. Be yourself, be kind, be generous, be loving, and people are more apt to do something nice for you. That's my advice for dealing with all the crazy phone calls and all the work that you need to do, especially if you need to talk to your boss, your supervisor, your landlord, and all the problems that you have. Kindness works, and it works in a big way. Suppose you got to talk to your landlord, you can't pay your rent. Very difficult to do, very troubling. Keep in mind, it is very hard to go from a full-fledged job to not working at all, and it just really sucks. But don't take it personal. You did nothing wrong. So don't put your ego involved. Don't do that. Just say very nicely, dear Mr. Landlord, I know you understand what the coronavirus is doing. If you could give me more time, if you could be so kind as to give me and my family a little bit more time, I will make it up to you. Very kind, very nice, very thoughtful. And usually people respond in kind. It takes a really bad negative person if they don't respond in kind. There's some good people out there that need love. It is extremely stressful. When I go to the store and I'm at the store and I'm checking out, because it's stressful, right? And the person who's doing the groceries or whatever is checking me out. Her name is Sherry. I said, Sherry, you know what? You're doing an excellent job. Rouse, whatever the store is, Ron's, whatever the store you're shopping, Walmart. We are so lucky to have you on the front line doing this job. I know it's a tremendous sacrifice for you to do this job, and I just want to show and tell you how much I appreciate you. And if your boss is here, I'd like to say something nice to your boss about your hard work and what you're doing. Typically, the boss will come over, supervisor, and you say, I'd like to say this person thank you. Do you know how much the boss appreciates it and how much that employee appreciates it? Because you don't know what that person may be going through. That person may have a family member that has coronavirus. That person may have stood up all night with their kids and they didn't even feel like getting to work that day. You don't know if they've dealt with other crappy customers. So spread love and light wherever you can. It's the best thing we can do for the human spirit. It's the best thing I could say to you personally that will lift your heart and will lift others. We are more alike than different. We feel the same. We know how it feels to lose a job. We know how it feels to make a bad mistake. We all know how it feels to lose someone we love. So we're all in this together. And don't separate. You know, there's this big thing about rich versus poor, black versus white, yellow. I mean, I don't know, all these divisions that are out there, not needed. We're here to love. Our purpose, our human purpose is to serve God, be loving, be kind, and do what you can to support and love each other because all we have is each other. We have this brief moment in history that people will look back on you, your great-grandchildren, your children, whoever it may be in the future, and they will ask about this time. What did you do during that time, they'll say. Grandpa, what did you do, Grandma, during that time? Tell them a good story. Share an inspiring story, how you did something you didn't think you could do. Because it's easy. Life is easy when things are going well, but we're always tested in our most difficult times. Do we rise up and do we listen to our better angels, or do we become selfish and self-centered and destructive and negative? We all make a choice. We all make a decision. It is easy to succumb to negativity and dark feelings and dark thoughts. Don't do it. You're a very good person. If you're listening to me, thank you. Hi. And we need each other and we love each other. So that's really my message and why I continue to do the show. I'm hoping to inspire everyone to be a positive, be a good person. It's not easy. Sometimes you're going to deal with negative people, destructive, horrible people, and they will test your boundaries. You politely move away from them. You let them go. You let it go. Let the negativity go. It's not worth pulling your energy in. You need a positive attitude to fight this virus. It affects your immune system. It affects who you are. Stay positive. Stay strong. Also, you do know the symptoms because I read them off every day, but go to coronavirus.org. There's some really, really good information there. If you don't know how to make a mask, you can use a scarf, t-shirt, sheets. You could cut it, make something creative. My sister has the cutest thing. She had like this leopard print. So Katrina, if you're listening, I just love your leopard print picture that you saw me. But there's lots of good things you can wear to cover it up. Also, figure out a way to improve your immune system. Look at your diet. If you're eating too much sugar and sweets, take care of your health. It's really important. Get the sleep that you need. Don't do too many negative things. Stay strong, stay positive, stay whatever. Okay. National Poetry Month, still reading poetry, which I think is good. I'm keeping up all the hard work, which I think is wonderful. So there's always this discussion by hydrochloroquine. It's see it everywhere. Everybody says, well, it's not approved to use for the coronavirus, right? You see it everywhere. Some people say, oh, I would use it. Some people say, well, if I got sick, if I was a doctor and I got sick, I would use it. Look, I think it's important to use whatever it takes, right? If you go to your doctor and you're having symptoms, say, oh, by the way, I like this. And a doctor says, okay, I think you should try it. What's the harm? That's just my opinion. I would try anything if I knew it would extend my life. I would be careful and mindful. Don't get me wrong. But if you're ill and you're sick and it could help you, why not why wait and try it? So that's just my opinion. I really, truly hope we get a vaccination very soon. Everybody says it's a year. I'm hoping it can be even faster, but we'll see what the experts continue to see. I did not bring a number. I had a phone number I was going to share with you. If you are having negative thoughts and you want to talk to someone, there is a phone number. I'll post it on Margaux Show on Margaux Monet, and you can see it and call if you are going through a really difficult time. And know that you're alive and you're here, and there's so much to be grateful and thankful for. Now, as far as television shows, I've been seeing this show called Black Monday on Showtime. I don't know. Do you guys watch Showtime? Oh, my God. I love Showtime, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Stars, TNT. I watch them all. Black Monday comes on Showtime. It is the most hysterical half-hour comedy I think I've seen in a long time. Don Cheadle's in it. Andrew Ranellis is in it. Regina Hall is in it. Let me tell you a little bit about, if you want to see a show that's absolutely funny about what went on, let me read a little bit for you. It chronicles the 31st anniversary of the worst stock market crash in the history of Wall Street. To this day, no one knows exactly what caused it happened on October 19th, 1987. Stock market crash until now. Join the Outsiders and take the blue-blooded club of Wall Street. Join them and cause the crashing of the world's largest financial system. It's a comedy about the crash, and that's where Black Monday comes from. It's just absolutely funny. I can share with you scenes, but you guys have to see this. If you do see the show after my recommendation, be sure to, one more thing I forgot to mention. Oh my God. Okay. So I got my YouTube channel up and running, so you can go back and see prior episodes. Also, like me. Hi. Like me if you like what I say. And I love your comments and information because that's how I learn and grow. And I also get to hear what your thoughts are on different subjects as well. So go ahead and like me, write a comment. Love you guys. Hold on one second. I need to check my clock real quick. Hold on. So, but I'm going to share a lot more information of some other exciting things that I'm working on. I'm working on my list of the best shows on Netflix and Showtime. I did that earlier. You can see that on previous episodes. I am going to step that up as well. I also want to do a little bit of a shout out to all you YouTubers out there to do makeup tutorials. I learned how to do my makeup better by watching you. I've learned some tricks of the trade. I was a, quote unquote model in my early life. So I did learn some tricks there, but there's so many great things that are going on with makeup. And so I always go online and research and find out some information on how I can improve my makeup. So I just like to thank all those YouTubers out there. If it wasn't for you and your help, I wouldn't be doing this. So there is so much good in the world. I know the news is quite negative and destructive, but you guys, we're going to make it through. Call all your credit card companies. Call everybody, make a list. Take advantage of this moment and learn as much as you can. Libraries are putting stuff online. Universities are putting some of their coursework online. Oh, I was supposed to learn a little bit about programming. I'm still going to work on that. Learn about art. Pretend you're in class and take a class on art history, an hour a day. Do something fun and interesting for you. Stay away from the news too much. Really hard for me to do because I love to learn everything, but it's so negative. So stay positive, stay uplifting, call your friends and family, tell them you love them, Love, love, love is all that we have in this world that we can share with one another. It's beautiful. It's a gift that we can share. And it's something that can come from my heart to your heart. And we could spread this. We can conquer coronavirus and at the same time start a big love nest of humanity here in the United States. It is always a pleasure to speak with you. You guys are my friends and my family. And I always have a glass of Margaux, which is my favorite glass. My husband is so paranoid that I am going to drop this glass. It is really funny. He's like, be careful. Do not break this glass. Because you know how it is when you have a set of china and you break one glass or one glass. It's like the whole world is shaken. So I promised him I'm very careful. I love this glass. It's 200 years old. I got to tell you a little story about it when I get a chance. All we have together, guys, is our hope. Hope is what kept humanity alive all of these years. All the millions of years has been hope. 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 And knowing that our time here is so precious and that we want to leave something greater for the people that come behind us when we our lives pass on and we get our angel wings. Hopefully we get our angel wings. I hope I do. And get our angel wings and go to the other side, that we leave something here for our kids or grandkids 100 200 years from now. Make this a good story for yourself. Make this wonderful. Give to everyone that you can. Be loving and kind, and most of all, be kind and loving to yourself. This is not an easy thing by any stretch of the imagination. Whatever feelings you have, whatever anger you have, sadness, there is another way. I love you. I wish you a wonderful evening and thank you. I'm Margaux Monet and thank you for joining me for another great episode of Margaux with Margaux. Also, email my assistant, graysonky@gmail.com. I'll put his email up if you like a free book of this book. Think You Grow Rich. The Power of Positive Thinking, and A Man Thinketh. One of my all my three favorite books to read when I was quite young, and they're so impactful, and everything they say is so real and so good. Good for the heart, good for the mind, good for the soul. God bless and take care. Let's drink one more time. That was wonderful. Thank you guys. Love and take care. Bye bye.